welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. It is Thursday, May 28th. We are 8 days away from my induction day. Today I am going to be doing another pregnancy update. I will be 38 weeks tomorrow. I had my 38-week appointment today. It was my last doctor's appointment up until my 6-week postpartum appointment, obviously. But I won't be going to the doctor again because my induction is next Friday. And I'm just going to be talking about how this last week was for me. I seem to get like more and more miserable by the day, honestly, but we're really close to the end and I just need to make it past Saturday whenever his grandma gets here, and then we'll be good. She can come whenever she wants. But symptom wise, how my 37th week of pregnancy went. I had a lot of anxiety this past week because of last week I was told that I was 3 centimeters dilated. I've been having contractions pretty much every night, and I just was really worried that I was going to go into labor before his grandma could make it here. So I was super anxious, constantly just worrying about what we would do, what would happen if I went into labor too soon. But it's getting a little bit better. I only have to make it like another day and a half. So I'm almost in the clear and I'm starting to feel a little bit better about it. Then the next symptom is just the contractions. I get them like every night when I'm laying in bed. That's the main time that I notice them. I'll get a couple for like an hour when I'm laying in bed, and then I'll just kind of ignore them, and then they'll stop, and then I go to sleep, and then it's just like nothing happened. I might have one or two throughout the day every once in a while, but for the most part I just have a few whenever I'm in bed at night. And they're not like super crazy painful or anything. They still feel pretty much just like a period cramp, but it's just a lot more crampy than what my contractions before. Why? Next thing is the nausea. I think I might have mentioned this last week, but it's continued. I still get nauseous almost every morning. It's not so the past like 1 or 2 mornings, but a lot of the times I wake up nauseous. And I've been waking up like a lot earlier than my alarms for some reason. Like I changed my daily schedule from getting up at 10 to getting up at 9 just because I have more stuff to do with daily vlogging. So I have an alarm for 9 every morning, but for some reason I'm always awake by like 8:30 and can't go back to sleep, and then the dogs are bothering me, and then London gets woken up and I just can't go back to sleep after that. The next two are a little TMI, but I've been having to poop a lot, which usually like whenever I drink my coffee it gives me a bit of diarrhea. I'm not totally sure why, but that's just something I've noticed. But I feel like, sorry, I have a burp. I feel like even when I don't have my coffee days, I'm still having to poop at least once a day, which is really unusual for me. I can go days without pooping, usually. But like I said, coffee gives me the runs, and then here lately it's just, I feel like I constantly have to go. And people will say that that's something that they experience close to labor because it's like your body's way of like clearing itself out before you give birth. But like that's really dependent person to person. Like some people experience it before labor and some people it's just like a normal symptom. Like it just depends. Sometimes it's indicative of labor and sometimes it's not, and there's no way of telling until you go into labor. And then the next thing is my discharge. Ow! My discharge has gotten a lot more like snot-like, which sounds super gross, but there's this thing called a mucus plug, if you don't know what that is. But when you're further along in your pregnancy, you can lose what is called a mucus plug, and it's basically just like a glob of like snotty discharge, and sometimes it can be bloody, and then it's called like the bloody show, and that also tends to be a sign that labor is near, but not always. Some people will lose theirs and then won't go into labor for weeks. Some people will lose theirs and will go into labor like the next day. It really just depends. You can lose it and then it can grow back, But it's basically just like what it sounds like. It's just like a plug from your cervix that, it's hard to explain it. Next is I've been having a lot of backaches. I've always had really bad back pain, but it's just been like a lot worse this past week. Like I'll have random days where it just hurts constantly, which is really annoying. I honestly hate having backaches. And the next one kind of goes along with me waking up before my alarms, is I've been having a lot of trouble with insomnia. A lot of it's because of my anxiety, and I'm not really able to shut my mind off at night, especially since that's when I get the bulk of my contractions. That's when I worry the most. So it's hard for me to like shut my mind off and go to sleep, and then once I am asleep, everything wakes me up. The dogs wake me up, the dogs wake London up, and then she wakes me up. If I get too hot or anything like that, I get woken up by Christopher coming to bed and just different stuff like that. And then I always end up waking up way before my alarm for just random reasons. Like I'm not even sure why half the time. I wake up like 30 minutes earlier than my alarm, even though nothing's happening. Like London's still asleep, the dogs aren't doing anything, and I should be able to still sleep, but I just can't. And then I can never fall back asleep to get any last bits in before I get up for the day, which sucks because I really like my sleep and I'm about to lose a lot of sleep. So I'm trying to get as much as I can now, but towards the end of pregnancy it's really hard to be comfortable and sleep and whatever else, and just throwing everything into a pot, and I'm just not getting much sleep now. I'm not going to be able to stock up on much sleep now, and then once ASHLYN is here, I'm just going to have to deal with not being able to sleep through the night because she's going to be up every couple hours eating. The next thing is nerve pain, which I've mentioned a couple times, but it just gets worse every single week. I say that every time, but it's because it's true. It just gets so much more intense every week. She's doing it, she does it a lot more often, and she does it for a lot longer. Usually she do it like once or twice, like every day maybe. But lately it's like almost any time I'm sitting she does it at least once. Sometimes she'll do it like 10 times, and I'm just constantly sitting there because it like shocks me so bad. And then there's also this thing where it feels like she's grinding my pubic bone, which is really painful. Then the last symptom that I have written down is breakouts. I've been experiencing my face breaking out a little bit more than usual. It's not like a crazy breakout, but my skin is usually pretty clear. I might get 1 or 2 pimples here and there, but the past week I've gotten like 5 or 6 at the same time, which is pretty unusual for me, which they say is also common kind of in the 3rd trimester, like when your hormones are starting to increase, preparing for labor and stuff like that. Breakouts can be common. Along with the contractions that I was talking about earlier, there actually is a reason behind me having them at night. There was something about how like the hormone that kind of starts the contractions is more predominant at nighttime. Like it's just released more, which is kind of why I have contractions at night but not really throughout the day. So I was kind of like, huh, there actually is a scientific reason for that, and it's not just some random thing. Besides that, we are just barely, we're pretty much a week out from induction. I just got to get through the rest of the day, and it'll be a week from tomorrow. The day before my induction, I do have to go to the hospital to do like some pre-registration type stuff. Like I think they have to like do blood work and just fill out forms and have all my paperwork ready so that on Friday I can just come in and they can immediately start the process. Otherwise I'd like come in at 8 when my scheduled time is, and then I'd be stuck waiting around for them to do all this stuff, and they wouldn't actually even start inducing me till later. But because of my appointment and stuff, I can go in the day before, get it all out of the way, and then when I go in Friday morning, they'll be ready for me and they can just get it started. And I was told that I have to have the swab, the COVID test, and I said that to you guys last week. The hospital is supposed to call me to like schedule for me to come up there and get the test a couple days before. I was told I have to do it 3 days before so that they can go ahead and have my results, but we are technically 8 days, but it's about to be 7 days away, and I still haven't been called about coming in for the test yet, so I'm not sure when I should be hearing from them. What is your problem, Nix? Because I do know the hospital that I'm going to be delivering at is requiring that you wear a face mask when you come, but I was told that once you get tested and your test comes back negative, then you're okay to take off your mask. I'm not really sure about the whole support person thing. Like, I don't know how it's going to be for Christopher, if he's going to have to wear one the whole time or whatever else. We'll have to just wait and see when we get there, but for me, I shouldn't have to wear it as long as my test is negative if I ever get the test. Like, obviously I'll get it, but it would be nice for me to go in the days before and already have my results in, so I don't have to wait around for it. Because if I go into labor on the day of and they have to test me before anything, then I'm gonna have to wait for the results, and I don't know how long it would take for them to get the results. So I would be stuck wearing a mask for however long, whenever I wouldn't necessarily have to if they did the test beforehand, which obviously that depends on if I make it to my induction date or not. If I don't make it to my induction date and it's something spontaneous, obviously there's not really a way to plan for that. I just have to go, and if I haven't had my test yet, then I'll have to be tested and just wait for it. But I don't know what's gonna happen. I might make it to my induction date, I might not. We'll have to wait and see. As long as I make it through Saturday, I'm good. I don't care when she comes. On to my appointment. Like I said, it was my last appointment with my doctor today. Weight, I was 163.2, which surprised me. I didn't gain weight in the past week, and the week before I had gained 3 pounds, so it's like my weight fluctuates a lot. Sometimes I'll gain a bunch in a week, sometimes I won't gain much in a week, and it just like flip-flops. I was expecting to have gained another 3-4 pounds because honestly I've been eating a lot this past week, but I actually weighed less by 0.2 this week than I did last week. So right now I'm at 38.2 pounds gained total in my pregnancy, and before she's born I might gain another pound or 2. I'm not totally sure. It depends, because like I said, my weight changes. One week I'll gain like 3-4 pounds, and the next week I'll gain maybe 1. And I mentioned to you guys last week that I had to have my group B swab done, and my results, I got my results back today, and unfortunately they did come back positive, which it's not like crazy bad. It's not anything that I could have helped really. The only thing that it affects is I have to have an IV of antibiotics done before I give birth, and there's a slight chance that baby could contract the infection through the birth canal and whatnot, like when she's being born. There's a very, very slight chance that she could catch it, but it's honestly very rare, and the antibiotics technically aren't even like I'm not gonna say they're not needed, but even without the antibiotics it's still pretty unlikely that it'll happen. It's just like precautionary. So I will have to have an IV of antibiotics, which I'm a little like about, because I've been told that it burns really bad going through your IV. And I was negative with London, so I didn't have to have it. I had an IV with her, but it was just for fluids. This time I'm probably gonna have to have fluids and I think it's penicillin and the Pitocin, because that is the method of induction that they're gonna do, is Pitocin. That's what she told me last week, which I did have Pitocin with London too, so I had fluids and Pitocin with her, but I didn't have Pitocin the whole time. With London, I got there and they started out with a Foley bulb and Pitocin. The Foley bulb got me to 3 centimeters, and then the Pitocin did the rest. This time I've been told that they're just gonna do Pitocin. Some, like different doctors in different hospitals do different things. There's Foley bulbs and balloons and stuff like that. There's this thing called Cervidil, which is like a pill that they insert to your cervix that's supposed to help like soften it and make it dilate easier. But I was told that I'm just going to be having Pitocin. And I was checked again today. My cervix was checked. And honestly, I was really confused because, like I said, last week she checked me and told me I was at a 3. This week, when my doctor checked me, it was a different doctor, so I'm not really sure how that works, like how different they are. But my doctor today said that I am almost a 2. And typically, like, I'm pretty sure it's not a thing for you to, like, go backwards. You don't, like, undilate. So one of them has to be wrong. I just don't know who. I don't know if the one said a 3 but I'm not actually 3, or if my doctor today said I'm almost a 2 and I'm not actually almost a 2. Like, honestly, I have no idea now, because like I said, your cervix doesn't typically, like, close once it started dilating. So I could be a 3 like the other doctor said, and then the doctor today just measures differently, or I could be an almost 2 like my doctor said today, and the other doctor measures differently, which it's known to be pretty common. Like, especially like a male doctor, you would be less dilated to them because their fingers are bigger than a woman's. And typically, like, most doctors will be like, oh, 1 fingertip means 1 centimeter. If I can do like 2 fingertips, then you're 2 centimeters. And with a male, his fingertips would be bigger, so his cervix check may have different results. But the thing is, both doctors were females, and I don't think that their finger size is that different. So I'm honestly so confused on that part. I don't know how far dilated I actually am at this point, but I'm not really that worried about it, I guess. As long as I'm not so dilated that I'm gonna go into labor before Saturday, I don't care. It would be nice to dilate some more before Friday to make my induction easier and quicker, but I don't know at this point. She did also say that I was 75% effaced. If you don't know what that means, basically to push, to give birth, you have to be 100% effaced and 10 centimeters dilated. So dilation is how, like, open your cervix is, and then effacement, there's like this lip kind of that's over your cervix, and the more effaced it is, like, the more out of the way it gets. Like, as you efface, it like helps the hole get bigger so that you can fit a baby through it. So I'm at 75% effaced. Have to get to 100, so that's pretty good. I'm showing some progress. So whether I am a 3 or an almost 2, either way I'm showing progress, at least, which is technically a good thing. It shows that those contractions that I'm having are doing something. And she did say that she is still head down. That's something I was a little worried about, because I'm honestly not sure. The last 2 times I saw her in ultrasound, she was head down, and I don't, like, think that I didn't think she wasn't head down. I just didn't know, and I'm not good at the whole belly mapping thing, because I feel movements from her in so many different spots that I wasn't sure. But the doctor said that she does feel that she is head down. I don't know if, like, she meant like her head is, like, engaged, kind of, because the head does have to engage itself into your pelvis for you to give birth as well. I haven't noticed that she feels that low, so I'm not sure, like, if she's, like, real close down there, but she is head down. And that is all I have to update you guys on today on my pregnancy. This may end up being the last pregnancy update. Depends on if I go to my induction date or not. There may be one more, or there may not be any more. I honestly don't know. Like I said, it depends on if I make it to my induction date. If I do make it to my induction date, that will be the last video you see before the labor and delivery vlog. And if I don't make it to my induction date, then it'll just be whatever vlog I did last, and I won't be filming another one of these. So, that being said, let's do the belly shot real quick, which I have a dress on, so not sure how this is gonna go. Okay. So here is the bump now. I don't really think I've dropped yet. And I went from saying, oh, I don't think I have any new stretch marks, just my old ones from London, to I've gotten a bunch new ones. I've got them across my back, like horizontally, which is weird. And as you can see, I've gotten some under my belly. I I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please leave a like and a comment below. Let me know your guesses on when Ashlyn's gonna come, if you think she's gonna wait until my induction date on the 5th, or if you think she's gonna come before then. Let me know what your guesses are. Subscribe to the channel before you go if you have not already. I'd love for you guys to join the family and be here for the remainder of our daily vlog countdown, and so you don't miss the birth vlog and all the newborn stuff. It would also help if you turn on your post notifications so you don't miss anything. I have switched to posting at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time instead of 5, and I'm currently posting daily up until the birth, like I said, and then I'm gonna go back to my Monday, Wednesday, Friday schedule once I get the birth vlog out. I don't know how long it'll take me to get that out yet. Depends on how I feel and how things go. But yeah, thank you for watching today's video, and I'll see you tomorrow.